our perception is that a cancer has replaced the common sense, common decency, courtesy, and brotherly love that once was the American mindset. We believe in the character of the American people.
The other day, I was picking up my daughter at her daycare center, which is her daycare center is in a community college. As I was walking in the facility to pick up my daughter, I just happened to just bring up the fact, because me being a stay-at-home father, I'm expanding my horizons and my responsibilities as a father. And I am becoming, being the fact that I'm becoming more aware of society and how dangerous it is out there. I have my daughter's life, her responsibility is in my hands. I just brought it up for no apparent reason, more than socializing, to discuss with the receptionist about firearms. And what I was speaking of was, I just said, hey, I'm excited, and I was I was excited about firearms and how I'm going to learn how to correctly use firearms and so forth and so forth. The tone and the pitch in my voice, did not demonstrate or illustrate any anger whatsoever. It was more discussing like a hobby, like bowling or carpentry. The very next day, my wife went to pick up our daughter. She was confronted, one of the instructors, the administrators of the daycare center, asking her if she could drop off and pick up my daughter 5 days a week, which in its simplest manner is to have me barred and banned from the daycare center. That, of course, did not happen. So when my wife said, I'm sorry, but due to scheduling and my obligations at my job, that there is no possible way that can happen, that was then forwarded upstairs to the dean. And then we had to have a meeting with the dean because of, basically, in my opinion, political correctness. I had to swallow my pride, and I had to suppress the constitutional right of freedom of speech.
Were you talking about hurting people with guns, or what was the nature of your conversation?
It's a very good question. No, the nature of my conversation was guns for me are now a new interest. It's a new interest because I have a daughter, and burglar alarms and cameras do not, do not have the ability to incapacitate people. I have been introduced to a person who respects guns, who will teach me the proper way to operate a firearm in a responsible way.
So you were talking about self-defense. Were you discussing this with the children?
No, not at all.
What were they angry about? Why didn't they want you around?
Prior to that brief discussion, I emphasized brevity about firearms. I had a minor confrontation with one of the administrators. I was respectful because I did hear her side, but because I spoke honestly, I told her how I felt. She misdiagnosed and misinterpreted that as confrontational versus exercising my First Amendment right of freedom of speech. She then the next day bundled our confrontation and my brief discussion with the receptionist, which was nonviolent, non-confrontational, and just like I said, talking about a hobby as if you would talk about stamp collecting. She bundled those into one situation. She then escalated or elevated that to the dean. So I had to then humble myself, think of the greater good, which is my daughter's future. And since then, everything has been fine.
Should people be afraid to talk about guns?
They should not be afraid. They are afraid because of political correctness. They are punishing the many for the ignorance and irresponsibility of the few.
How will you deal with people who refuse to talk about subjects that make them uncomfortable in the future?
So the way I've decided to deal with this and to combat this is to just basically understand she is 3 years old and to just be her teacher at home and to just take what they're trying and attempting to impart to her and instill into her. Take the things that I like and extract the things I don't like. Take my good qualities, match them up with the good qualities of the school, and that I feel in this day and age will prepare my daughter for success.